Welcome to the kickoff of National Youth Violence Prevention Week, an exciting week in our city with so many good things going on and showcasing all the positive, wonderful folks that we've got in our community. And when you talk about that, when you talk about positivity, when you talk about energy, when you talk about action, one thing you talk about are the young prodigies.
It's happening in the silence, players stop to arm and violence. People hating, they fighting, using guns, and we're dying. It's time to start rising to the top. We are family, gaining power from above. Spread that California love. Hey, 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 let's go.
Great job, guys. Way to roll. Perfect. Proud of y'all. Good job. Hey, you got it going on. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking about another, I don't know if we call her a young prodigy. When I met this lady, she was in high school. I met her at the main library branch downtown. I'm not sure quite how we met. We started talking, and she was volunteering at the library. She loved being at the library, and it's where she went to study because she had a dream of going on to college, and then she had a dream of becoming a medical doctor someday. And it really impressed me because she was, I think, in 10th grade, 9th or 10th grade at the time, and every time I kept going back to the library, I kept seeing this impressive young lady. And then she became part of our Summer Works program, and next thing I know, she's a Woody Porter Scholar at the University of Louisville. And the next thing I know, she's on her way to medical school. So please give a warm welcome to Fatima Abdullah here as she kicks off our event. Fatima.
First, I would like to say good morning to everyone
Good morning.
gathered here today. My name is Fatima Abdullahi, and I'm a member of Mayor Fischer's One Love Louisville Youth Implementation Team. As a team, we're charged with helping the mayor and other community leaders understand the complexities of community violence and help them develop strategies to reduce homicide, suicide, and drug overdose-related deaths. Over the past few months, I had the pleasure of helping coordinate Louisville's activities for National Youth Violence Prevention Week. This week was initially a dream thought of by Students Against Violence Everywhere, an initiative of Sandy Hook Promise. National Youth Violence Prevention Week was founded in 2001 in hopes to promote effective strategies to prevent youth violence before it happens. The goal of this campaign is to raise awareness and educate youth and the communities on effective ways to prevent and reduce youth violence. The week-long National Education Initiative will involve activities and demonstrate the positive role young people can have in making their community and school safer. Each day of the week corresponds with a specific challenge to be implemented around the country. Monday is Know the Signs. Tuesday is Respect and Tolerance. Wednesday is Be an Upstander. Thursday is Resolve Conflict Peacefully. And Friday is Unite in Action. Those participating in the week are invited to showcase their work using the hashtag NYVPW and hashtag LouYVPW. And now I would like to welcome Mayor Fischer to talk more about the National Violence Prevention Week.
Thank you, Fatima. Appreciate all the work of our youth implementation team. I want to recognize Fatima's mom, who's with us here today, and her brother as well, and they show us what an asset immigrants are to our community as well. So thank you and your entire family. Nice job. So Youth Violence Prevention Week is obviously a time that's serious for our community because when any one of us hears about violence taking the life of a young person, if you're like me, it just hits you in the gut and you're like, oh, no, not again, here we go. And it's easy to feel angry, it's easy to feel despair, confusion, what is it that you can possibly do? And you wonder, how do we get to this place? And why does it keep happening? And how do we move forward as a city, as a country, as a community But one thing I do know, it's clear that those feelings and those questions must not lead to despair and inaction. They have to bring us together to take action. And I think that's one of the purposes why we're here in our city and on the face of the earth. And that's what Youth Violence Prevention Week is all about. This is a national event organized by Students Against Violence Everywhere, SAVE, also known as SAVE. And this year's theme is Be a Superhero. Activate your superpowers. And I see these guys, the young prodigies, you guys have got a lot of superpowers that you just showed us about up here. This week, as Fatima just said, is designed to promote respect and tolerance among our youth and underscore that with great power comes great responsibility. Responsibility to resolve conflicts how? Not violently, peacefully, and work to prevent violence before it happens. Now, according to the research from SAVE, 60% of American children are exposed to violence, crime, or abuse in their homes, schools, or communities. Almost 2 out of 3 kids. Does anybody think that's acceptable? No, not at all. And these are the voices of truth speaking to us right here. So we all know we've got to do better. It will take time, it takes persistence, it takes sustained effort, but we will do better for the sake of these young prodigies up here, all the youth of our city, and we're constantly working on it. One thing I know about our city and the team at city government, and many of you all in this room and behind me as I look around, is the dedication that we have to building a more peaceful city. And so I'm proud of the way that we come together and work on peace building. And we can say that we're not satisfied with where we're at, but we can also say when we look at the results that we're seeing a good trend. We've seen over the past couple of years now, we've had a homicide reduction in our city over 30%. Through our Cure Violence program, where we take a public health approach to reducing the risk of violence. We've assisted 212 gunshot victims, and in January of this year alone, we spent more than 200 hours engaging patients at the U of L emergency room, plus hundreds of hours in Russell, Portland, and Shawnee neighborhoods, engaging individuals and families at risk of being impacted by gun violence, leaning into this issue. Now, at a time when we're facing serious budget challenges here in the city because of the pension problems and a vote the council took, some people are saying we should cut everything except public safety. Now, it's important to keep one thing in mind, and this presents a real opportunity for us. Public safety is about a lot more than policing. Public safety comes from community centers, like here, California, parks, libraries, violence interruption programs supported by our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, libraries, mentor programs, out-of-school time programs, and events and activities like this one that are taking place all across our city. These are all public safety programs. Our Pivot to Peace program that I just mentioned in the hospital-based program has reduced injury recidivism among 95% of its participants. So think about that. This is when, if you're a victim of a gunshot wound or a knife stabbing, you're at University Hospital, you're surrounded by caseworkers, and you're offered an opportunity to get out of that life. 95% success. You can't tell me that's not an effective public safety program. Thanks to the good work of our community response team, more than 300 individuals and families have been connected to trauma-related services within 48 hours of an incident taking place. If you've been exposed to violence, it is only natural that you're going to feel traumatized. And so what we want to make sure of as a city is that there's people there to help you work through that period. So expanding on some big news that we announced a couple months ago, later this week, we'll be officially launching our Trauma Resilient Cities Initiative. We received a $5 million 5-year federal grant to build a trauma-informed system of care and services to children and families exposed to violence. That is a really big deal. So that's going to help lots of people for a long time in our city. When you think about the collaboration we have with Kentuckiana Works, more than 500 young people have enrolled in Reimage. Reimage is a program that's helping to break the cycle of crime and violence by connecting these young people to training, jobs, and education. 90% success rate. So when we have the funding and we have the mentors, these programs work. Reimage is actively recruiting young people right now for training that can quickly set them on a career path in key fields like information technology, manufacturing, construction, healthcare, youth development, many, many more. In fact, 4 Reimage participants were among those who graduated just this past Friday from a training class at the Kentucky Manufacturing Career Center. Let's hear it for these 4 youngsters. And all 4 of them had the opportunity to interview on the spot with manufacturing companies to get jobs that day. So all of this together is part of our successful violence prevention work. I call it peace-building work, too, public safety work, all of these different components coming together. And there's always going to be a lot of work to do, but folks, through our efforts together, we've done a lot of good things, and we're going to keep doing a lot of good things in our community. And one of the greatest signs of hope I see in this ongoing fight to erase violence from the lives of our young people is right here in this room. These are representatives of the youth in our entire city. And when you see them up here with their talent and their spoken word, their rap, their music, they're speaking the truth about violence and peace building and people coming together. And what they're asking is for people to stand up and be leaders and make a difference. So that's what gives me confidence about our future because of great leaders like you guys. Let's hear it for the young prodigies again. So we just want to create a climate, a culture in our city where it's never normal for a child to be exposed to violence, any kinds of violence, and that's a mission that we all, I know, are committed to. In closing, a lot of people are helping us. We have well over 100 partner organizations and schools participating in events this week, and thousands of young people who've signed up to participate. Last year, we had about 46,000 youth participate in National Violence Prevention Week in our city. And why not break that record year? Let's go for 50,000. How's that sound? That's a doable goal. Let's do that. So I encourage and invite everybody who cares about this issue, and I believe that is everybody, to stand up and show up and activate your superpowers by participating in the activities planned throughout the week and throughout the year. You can do it throughout the year by becoming a One Love Louisville ambassador or becoming a Big Brother and Big Sisters mentor, participating with Reimage and be a mentor there. So remember to share your involvement on social media using the hashtag LOUNYVPW. Let's give a big thank you to our superhero partners who stand with us in this essential work, many of whom are behind me here today. Jefferson County Public Schools, Cities United, a national partner and sponsor of this week, led by Anthony Smith here from Louisville as the national CEO. Metro United Way, Brown-Forman, Community Foundation of Louisville, the Center for Women and Families, Peace Education, the Louisville Urban League, Centerstone, the Muhammad Ali Center, University of Louisville, Global Game Changers, Louisville Metro Police Department, and many, many more. We've got a great group of partners here. Speaking about a partner and a leader, I'd like to introduce Rashad Abdur-Rahman. He's the director of our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. He'll talk about some of the specific activities happening this week in Louisville. Please welcome Rashad Abdur-Rahman.
Good morning, everybody. I think it's still morning, actually. It's so good to see everybody here in this room, all of the familiar faces and partners who are invested and who have really been essential, critical to the planning of this week. I really cannot describe National Youth Violence Prevention Week any better than Fatima already has. She's a brilliant, amazing person. And so what I want to do, rather, is really emphasize why this week matters. It matters because our youth are disproportionately impacted by violence. Whether it's in the community, whether it's in the home, or whether it's within institutions, our youth face violent outcomes at a greater rate than other sections of our community. And I don't think anyone would agree that that's acceptable. We often say that our youth are the future, but I am here to say that they actually are right now. And the young folks here, I think, have clearly demonstrated that in so many ways, that our youth are the now. And so part of the work that we are doing as a city, part of the work that we need to do year-round, but certainly this week, is elevate what happens when we maybe move out the way a little bit and step back and really encourage and seed and really kind of invest in the leadership of our young folks that's just waiting to burst out and to be present. Each of us, regardless of our title or our role, have the ability to positively impact this challenge of community violence. And so this moment, this week, during National Youth Violence Prevention Week, it's really about us intentionally working together and defining both meaningful and creative ways to reduce violence. And so this, again, needs to be done alongside the incredible young people in our city. And in truth, there are far too many activities for me to sit here and go through each thing that's happening this week, but I do want to highlight a number of activities happening that hopefully folks can participate in. Tuesday, tomorrow, there is an event called The Feet, Never the Face. It will be an interactive panel to discuss violence against women and queer folk of color. It will be at 5:30 p.m. at the Louisville Urban League, and food will be provided. Also on Tuesday, the mayor mentioned that we received a 5-year grant from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. The Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, in partnership with Centerstone, the University of Louisville Kent School of Social Work, Spalding University, and many others, will be working to implement this initiative over the next 5 years. And so the work that we will be doing is really being launched tomorrow. We're hosting a luncheon. We'll have a keynote speaker, Dr. Wendy Ellis, who will be joining us, in addition to numerous local organizations that provide community-based services and community leaders. We are actually at capacity for this event, but I want you to know about it anyway. On Wednesday, April 10th, there will be a Peace Walk and Community Resource Fair. Lavelle White, who is here, raise your hand, Lavelle. Lavelle is going to be a point of contact for that, as well as Freddie Brown. Where's Freddie? Okay, so Freddie Brown will be a contact as well. This Peace Walk and Resource Fair, the Peace Walk portion will begin at the Carl Braden Center, and it will end at the NIA Center, where the Resource Fair will take place. The walk begins at 4:30 p.m., and refreshments will be provided there as well. On Thursday, there's a lot going on. There is a Youth Violence Prevention Summit hosted by the Youth Violence Prevention Research Center, and I saw Trinidad is in the back. I saw Monica as well, but they're hosting that event. It will begin at 10 a.m. at Hotel Louisville. And this is actually a really interesting event. The Center for Disease Control will be in town for this, and they're doing a reverse site visit because they're so impressed with the work going on at U of L and how they're elevating a narrative of systemic and structural violence as part of that work. Additionally, on Thursday, there will be another event at the Urban League, Black Girls Like to Play. It'll be a healing space for Black women and girls. It'll be at 6 p.m., again at the Urban League. And then on Friday, April 12th, there will be the second annual Voices of Change Youth Against Violence Writing Contest. Folks can submit writing pieces to www.sarahbandbooks.submittable.com, and we're happy to share that information. It's on our website. I've handed out some of these flyers to folks already, but we've got several additional ones if needed. So we're excited. This is going to be an incredible week. I am just in awe and humbled by the incredible young people up here and all around us, and it fills me with hope, and it fills me with encouragement for what's in store for our city. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce an incredible partner who will be supporting this week as well, from Jefferson County Public Schools, Katie DeFerrari.
Good morning. I could not be more thrilled to be here. And I think, as Rashad said, there's so many partners in this room that I recognize We are partnering with the new and more innovative ways every day. Just this week, our schools across the district, kindergarten through 12th grade, are engaged in awareness activities. We have schools participating in random acts of kindness. We have schools participating in walks, all in addition to the great events that Rashad just mentioned. So please feel free to go on to the site. We also are posting on the YMCA's link to these events, and you can see all the great things and look for things happening right in your community. And we could not be more thrilled about that. We also have a great group of high school kiddos that are going to participate in the summit this week, and we know that that's going to be a really important event for them. I think we're really trying to help our youth understand their responsibility as being part of the answer. They are young leaders, and we need to hear them and let them have voice and help us create solutions. In Jefferson County Public Schools, we've created some really innovative new partnerships. As the mayor mentioned, Cure Violence is going to be something that Jefferson County Public Schools is going to be expanding into by adding mental health support at those sites that can help work with our students. We are excited about that new innovation and can't wait to see the positive results that we believe that will have. We also know that our students need, and families need, support around trauma, and that is something that we're scaling as a district with various kinds of training. And clearly, the superintendent has made lots of references to a huge amount of new support for mental health counselors at all of our schools as soon as 2019, which is something that we've never provided at that level, and we know will make a very positive difference for our kids. This is a public health issue, and we need to eradicate it, and so we're scaling all of our efforts to not only react to things and have crisis and support preventions at that point, but let's be proactive. Let's get with kids before things happen, and let's talk about better ways to resolve things. If you need supports with mental health, let's be there. If you need supports or just someone to talk to, let's make sure that we're there for you as well. So again, we can't wait to do some of this new work with you, and we can't wait to provide additional supports for families and kids in Jefferson County.
JCPS has just been a great partner with us. So, Katie, we appreciate you very much, Dr. Polio and the whole team. I also want to recognize Moms Demand Action. They always show up here. I want to thank you for the work that you all do on gun safety issues. And then Students Demand Action as well, as we see students forming chapters around the country to fight this scourge of gun violence in our community. We couldn't do the work that we do without the partnership with the Metro Council. So we happen to be in the president of the Metro Council's district right here, District 6. So please welcome Council President David James.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello. You guys did an outstanding job this morning. I was standing there watching you, and Ben Johnson was back there, and he got all excited and started sweating and everything. I was impressed. I also like to thank your teacher, Nairi Clayton-Taylor. Where'd she go? There she is, the State of Kentucky Elementary School Teacher of the Year. You rock. This week is very important, but what I really want to say is it's not just this week. It's the entire year. And as the mayor had said earlier, it's important that we understand that as we talk about budget cuts with the city and people talk to us about public safety, public safety, public safety, most people say public safety in the terms of police, fire, and EMS, but this is public safety. It's very important that we recognize that violence is unacceptable, and violence is very unacceptable to our children. And that as we look and talk about programming and things like that in our community, we need to understand that. And if we really believe that violence is unacceptable in our community, then we need to act like it. And what we do when we act like that is we put funding towards those efforts. And so as we talk about that and we think about these young people, I would say to all of us to put your money where your mouth is, get involved, and help do the things that we're trying to do to keep young people safe in this community. And with that being said, I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, President James. And I think most everybody knows this, but President James is a retired police officer. So he speaks from the lens of a police officer, understanding the importance of broad community supports around public safety. Now, to wrap us up, another great community partner, and that's the Louisville Urban League, involved with so many important activities here in our city. Please welcome Lyndon Pryor.
Morning, and thank you. On behalf of our president and CEO, Sadiqa Reynolds, I just want to thank Rashad and the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods for inviting us to participate in this week's activities. As you heard, we're hosting a couple of events at our site, and we look forward to the community coming out and participating along with us. But we also like to highlight that all year long we've got programs going on. We do our best to serve community through the lens of jobs, justice, education, health, and housing. Specifically in education, we've got more than 8 or 9 programs, for youth of all ages as well as families. And so our goal through those programs is to serve them and to help them to create communities amongst themselves, as well as to be able to thrive financially, educationally, and as well as in the community. The last thing I wanted to add, though, is there are some who might look at this week and think about youth violence through the lens of personal responsibility or respectability politics, as if it is somehow the sole responsibility of these beautiful young people to figure this out. At the Urban League, we just simply don't agree with that. We view violence through the lens of that these occurrences happen as a reaction to the structural and systematic violence that occurs against them each and every day. The trauma that they face, whether it be at school, in communities, through other types of systems, are truly impactful. And so we believe that all the partners represented here today have to take hold of this issue and focus on root causes to begin to substantially move this needle forward. As you've heard today, we know that there is already great work being done, and we applaud that work. We're happy to be partners in that work, and there's more great work to come. But I will leave you with that all the adults, the people of power and influence in this room, we've still got miles and miles to go, and the Louisville Urban League looks forward to being a partner with you on that work. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks everybody for coming out, and just to echo Lyndon, when we think about the results we get in the community, these results are because of the systems that are in place that produce those results. And for good, long-lasting change, whether it be on gun violence issues, mental health supports, mental health services have been defunded in the United States of America 90% from their peak. Affordable housing has been defunded 90% from their peak. So when you look at the challenges that we face in our country, it's system redesign we got to focus on and resources. So this week, hopefully we'll put the spotlight on all of that. We do this work for these young guys and gals here in front of us, and we thank everybody for coming out today. God bless y'all.